The HTC One M9 was released in 2015 and was not that popular. No one really knew about it and no one really bought it. But 4 years later, how does it hold up in 2019? So the question, how does it hold up in 2019? Not too bad. I can't really complain about this phone. It's on Android 7.0 and it's running really smoothly. And what that means is that most apps are supported. It's actually fairly fast, which was another surprising thing. And here's why. This phone actually has a decent amount of RAM, a decent amount of storage, and a pretty good processor. The reason why this phone was so fast is because first thing that we're going to talk about is the 3 gigabytes of RAM. That's fairly fast, and even though, the Note 10 has 12 gigabytes of RAM, this is still fairly fast, and I could use this perfectly every single day if I wanted to. Another thing about this phone is that it has the Snapdragon 810, and that's actually pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that, since the Samsung Galaxy S10 has a Snapdragon 855, which isn't too far off. The third thing, the storage. The storage is actually okay. It's 32 gigabytes of storage, and that's acceptable, and for 2015 that was acceptable. Now you can live through it if you are a basic user. And but in 2019, if you're a heavy user, then you might not want to get this phone just because of the storage. First of all, the camera. The camera is a quote-unquote 20 megapixel best camera ever. It's not even close. This is probably one of the worst cameras, one of the worst 20 megapixel cameras that I've ever seen. It's really, really bad. Not actually that bad in low light, but just daily usage, it's really bad compared to the Sony Xperia Z3. That's one that's much better than this, and it's the same megapixel camera. Now here's some bad things that we're gonna talk about. There is a couple of good things with the display. The display is actually not too bad. This is even better than the iPhone XR display. This is because it is a 1080p full high definition display, which is actually really good. You cannot see any pixels. Even if you look on the sides, you cannot see anything. So I've basically covered all the details about the HTC One M9. Now, should you buy this? To be honest, the Sony Xperia Z3 is much better than this phone. It has the same amount of RAM, and it just has a better camera. And even though it has a little bit worse of a processor, it's about the same speediness of this. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell me if you would buy this phone, and if so, why?